Alright, Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there, unto the Israelite foreigners, for the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom, in the Hebrew, which peace is quick show through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai. I guess a little bit of breaking news. It says, African country eyes gold currency. Zimbabwe's central bank announced gold coins as inflation approaches 200%. So, I'm gonna read the article. It's self-explanatory, but it says, seeking to curb the inflation that reaches at 191 in June, which was last month, a couple of days ago, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe announced on Monday it will soon start issuing gold coins. The government in Haran hopes this will reduce the demand for U.S. dollars and at least slow down the further debasement of local currency, but the general public appears unconvinced, which that first paragraph said a lot. And the main thing is to reduce the demand for U.S. dollars, which the U.S. dollar right now is in inflation mode. Many countries have dropped the U.S. dollar because there's nothing really backing it. And the key to everything, if you're not paying attention, all these BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, what the hell is S stand for? I can't remember what the S stand for, but then you have Iran, you have Argentina. All these places have natural resources, and all these places as well are backing their currency with gold to get accustomed or get used to not dealing with the US dollar. So when another country, more and more countries are dropping the US dollar as their major trade currency, the US dollar is losing value by the moment. And actions like this will start another war. But read on, it says Central Bank Governor John Mogada, I don't know how to say it, said the coin should become available in late July via local banks and currency exchange named, I don't know what that is, Victoria Falls. They will contain 1 troy ounce of gold and serve as legal tender, convertible into cash locally and internationally. So once you hit the international part, that poses a threat to the U.S. All right. Prime example: the Iraqi war was not because Saddam Hussein tried to kill George Bush Sr. or because they had weapons of mass destruction. It's because they wasn't trading with the US dollar. They wanted to trade in euros. Okay? Plus they had like a laundry list of places that did not have central banks, and those places they had to take them down. That's another factor. Now if I'm not mistaken, Zimbabwe had this problem maybe like 2-3 years ago, maybe more. So they finally hit the pinnacle where people had enough. All right? Because, I travel, so if you go to certain places and you get their currency is an astronomical number that you have to convert the US dollar, but the US dollar would have been strong. The only thing that was stronger than the US dollar was the pound and the euro, which I never got to get a pound. I got to go get the euro. I think the euro was like what at the time. I'm just going by my memory. The time was right. So it's they say $20 American would be like 25 or maybe $30 euro, around like 2000, right, 2001, 2006, around that time frame, something like that. So that was the only thing that was above the U.S. dollar. So now because I was in the military, when I went to, let's say, when we went to Turkey, and their currency was like a billion, so $1 would be like, I'm just 13 billion of their dollars, which is a lot more. So $1 is a lot more than their currency. And even in Greece was a part of the NATO, the EU. They dealt with euros. But look what happened to that country. It goes back to obviously the 10 toes. Some were strong, some were weak. So now these countries that's outside of NATO and the EU, who has been dealing business with America, because after World War II, the U.S. dollar has become the world's currency, where every trade was dealt by that particular thing. So everybody got hooked to it. All right, they got hooked to the dollar, and when the dollar standing strong, the U.S. economy was strong. But now the U.S. economy ain't shit. The U.S. dollar has been decreasing since the 1970s. That's why you had, was it an EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, that was pretty much selling some of U.S. Land, because countries was asking for their money back. The prime example was France. They wanted some of their money back because money would be backed up. The money in the U.S. would be backed up by gold or silver, but for a long period of time it never was. It became fiat currency, which was backed up by nothing. All right, crude oil, they backed it up with. So now these nations are starting to wing themselves from the dollar, and right when they wing themselves from the dollar, a lot of them seen success. I was watching just recently, I forgot this guy's name. It was on YouTube. It was breaking down how Russia doesn't want they want everybody to deal with their currency, and Russia's economy has been booming after the sanctions, which is supposed to be the opposite effect of these sanctions. All right, so we started seeing a trend right now. It says the gold coins will be available for sale to the public, both for local currencies and U.S. dollars and other foreign currencies, at price based on previously or prevailingly international price of gold and cost production. What else? Oh, damn, what country was it? I can't remember. It'll come to me. An African country has found a couple $1 trillion worth of gold. So Africa, once again, the landmass, natural resources, is keeping these nations very interested. But yes. Also, since I brought back all that memories stuff, then you don't forget Gaddafi, all right, who wanted to trade his currency, African currencies, with gold to back it up, and then they took him out. It says the central bank hoped that using the coin as a store of value would reduce the demand for U.S. dollars. Yes, because it is going to reduce the demand for U.S. dollars, because the U.S. dollar is not going to be enough for the actual silver and gold. Silver and gold is the real currency from the beginning of time. It says, let's see, Herrera blames for the ongoing collapse of the national currency. So they're blaming the U.S. dollar for their problems. It says, meanwhile, known as the Zim dollar or Zoo dollar, ZWL. Meanwhile, Magadalia, so that's how you say it, has outlined plans to treat the American dollar as legal tender for the next 5 years. Last week, the central bank raised interest rates from 80% to 200%. Gold is expensive. Currency trader Musa, I don't know how to say it, told The Guardian, when asked about the new coin, many will continue to keep their money at home. This is the only failed move by the government. The move comes as both the US and China are showing renewed interest in Zimbabwe, mostly notable for its deposit of lithium. I believe that's what they use for cell phones. The largest in Africa, the fifth largest worldwide. The Bakati mine in Muscovgo province sits on an estimated 11 million tons of metal, most commonly used in batteries. So it's batteries. China's Sin Mine Resource Group recently bought the mine for 180 million and announced last month it would invest another 200 million to expand operation. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has nominated a veteran diplomat who served in Ukraine. You see what happened in Ukraine, right? The UK and Turkey as the next American ambassador to Zimbabwe. Pamela Tremont, current post, was a charge, I don't know how to say that, in Sweden, during which the tradition neutral country announced it would wish to join NATO. The original Zimbabwe dollar, introduced in 1980, started out par with the U.S. currency, but traded 100 to 1 by 2000, meaning it was worthless. A trade from 100 to 1 that's horrible. By the time the fourth iteration of the Zimbabwe dollar was adopted in 2009, it was traded at the 300 trillion ZWR to 1 US dollar. So they was not getting, once again, the beneficial of that exchange. So the same failed system that was in Ukraine and the UK and Turkey have their problems as well. It's going over there. So you already can see what's gonna happen clearly, So once, everybody's starting to see that the American dollar ain't worth shit. Never was and never will be. Let's get a couple scriptures and I'm gonna end it off. It's gonna be quick. Jeremiah. Matter of fact, Proverbs. I like the one. Was it 23? 20? Nope, that's not it. What was it? 20? Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. So we heard the ratio, 100 to 1, 100 of their dollars to 1 of our dollars. That's not a good outcome. It was at par at the beginning, meaning it was quite equal. Then it changed. People are starting to wise up and notice that the US dollar is no good. Alright? It is no good. Actually, we keep reading. It says, man's goings of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? And that's very important, especially dealing with the times that we're dealing with. Because a lot of these nations, they slept with the beast. They caught herpes, AIDS, or whatever. And not knowing why they did the things that they did. The greatest threat to the US dollar is, and it always has been, to any fiat currency, is gold and silver. especially if people are not trying to trade with that US dollar. Okay? The US dollar is not worth nothing. It's an abomination in the sight of the Lord. But we get the quick precept, Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Who is Babylon? America. America has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Alright? That made all the earth drunken. So all these nations had one period of time drunken the wine of America. It's democracy, it's fiat currency, alright? All of its philosophy, the ways of things going. It has gotten the world drunken, okay? And we all know if you are a drinker, once you get drunk, if you drink the right stuff, you get drunk, you have no hangover. But if you drink the wrong stuff, you're going to have a bad hangover. And right now, these nations are realizing they're having a bad hangover. Because the shit that they was drinking, it doesn't add up to what they're getting in return. Okay? And it says, the nations have drunken of her wine, which is what the philosophies and the ways of America. Therefore, the nations are mad. Mad at two fronts. Mad because they actually furious, and mad because they drunk. They was drunken in madness. All right. And what would make, might I add, Zimbabwe has a central bank. So if they're willing to do that in a central bank, which the central bank is run by the international bankers, that means either they're going to try to put real gold out there, or they're trying to get the gold from the people. However they plan to do it, they're going to plan to do it. But the point is, then they're not getting the equal amount as they gave back. The Zimbabwe is trying to play safe by still keeping the US dollar afloat in that country, but it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. All right. It says, real quick, James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries shall come upon you. And this is for the elites. All right, the elites of this world, which are the kings of this world, the rulers of this world. They played a dirty game for a long period of time. Okay, from all over the four corners of the earth, they have deceived the whole world. That's why there's a laundry list of nations that does not have a central bank. I believe Syria and Iran are the last two strongholds. Mainly Iran. I believe it's Syria and Iran that doesn't have no central bank. I could look it up, but I feel kind of lazy right now. And these two are the last strongholds, meaning all these other countries have some sort of central bank on them. So they all been sleeping with these elites, so to speak. So your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. So we seen the rust of them. We seen the people, these nations, are literally turning their back on how the elites establish this fiat currency business, which is not backed up by anything. And all the gold, and they have stolen all the gold and the silver, kept it for themselves, and has given people nothing in return. Well, guess what? All that's coming back to them. Once again, the real currency has always been and always shall be silver, gold, livestock, things of tradable. All right? And these devils have been hoarding this thing up for a long period of time. It says, your flesh, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Yet you have heaped up treasures together for the last days. And that's them heaping up treasures. That's why they can't wait to get their hands to that. Damn, I forgot which was it. it was Uganda that find a mine when it was worth approximately, they said maybe 3 trillion. So all eyes once again is going to be in that region, and America, as the elites armed forces, is going to get more involved into these African countries because they have natural resources that these devils is trying to heap up. But them heaping up this treasure is not for their own selfish reasons. It's heaping up for us. Okay? It's heaping it up for us. Because they're not going to be able to enjoy anything. And we could clearly see the transitioning of power taking place. The BRIC nations have all the natural resources while NATO and the EU has nothing. Nothing. So whatever the case may be, they will be. World War III will take place, and World War III is just not going to be NATO and BRICS. It's going to be all nations battling one another for whatever reason, for natural resources, for gold, silver, whatever it is, for territory. Everybody, all hands is on deck. All hands are going to be on deck. All hands is going to end up going to the Middle East and get all these armies going to be burnt to a crisp. And these elites going to lose everything in 1 hour. All right. So something real quick to the spirit. Shalom to the elected nations of Shalom.